one program that sticks in my mind is we had the Ryder Cup, the 95 Ryder Cup.
Okay.
And I was a volunteer, but I said, why don't we have, and I knew one of the chairs, the co-chairs, Tony Malone was my first boss, member of Oak Hill. Why don't we have Tony talk about the project management of the Ryder Cup?
Yes.
Okay. He had to order, I mean, they had all the stands, all the clothing, all the merchandise, all the, the 1 year of planning of this international event that had, the Concorde flying into Rochester with the European team.
Mm-hmm.
And my vision, which worked, was it was the middle of October. It was in the ballroom. Tony sponsored it. We had to pay, of course. People had to pay.
Okay.
And when you're a member of the country club, they want you to sponsor events and use the kitchen because it actually makes money. So you as a member, it's not costing you anything, but it's helping you on your minimum food bill, so to speak. We had a beautiful fall day with the fall leaves, sunshine, 62 degrees. People could drive up that half-mile drive up through the golf course, up to the big Tudor clubhouse. We had a line outside the door, and everyone had, a great meal. And one guy came up to me and said, I'm joining PMI because you have, I would never have gotten into Oak Hill. And you've had these events that were not just at the Maplewood or the Mapledale, okay? You've had them, these different places that were interesting to go to. And once I got here, this actually came from a wife at our 10-year anniversary. She said to her husband at the table, she says, this is the only organization you belong to where I'm willing to come to your dinners because these people are interesting, and the wives are interesting,
Yes.
So
yes.
That, as the program chair, that was kind of my yes. Okay, the weather was perfect. The crowd was 80, the most we'd ever have at an event. Everyone enjoyed themselves. Of course, the meal was wonderful, and then shortly thereafter we went over 100 members.
And what you're talking about is building is what has contributed or attributed to those successes was you building that relationship with Tony.
Well, he was my first boss for 2.5 years until I moved over to Labella. But
But that's not an assumption. There are definitely people who have first bosses they don't want to talk to anymore.
Right.
And you have this amazing relationship that you built that is allowing you to build on those successes and bring other people in as a team.
Well, we're both Rensselaer grads too, so.
There you go. There you go.
I was going to say something, the relationship, but it was basically, so now number 3, what drew me to PMI and PMI Rochester was, this meeting sounds interesting,
Right.
And I'm wired that way. Because people will go, why would I want to go to that meeting that has nothing to do with my job? It's like,
right.
Well, maybe there's something you could learn that you could apply,
mm-hmm.
Theory wise.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, I'm kind of get into theory. Some people, nope. I just want to move my widgets. That's all. Okay. And I know engineers that are wired that way. Mm-hmm. They're grinders. Mm-hmm. Okay, not big thinkers.
Right.
Okay, so.
And that's definitely a personality attribute then. Did Keen mention that creativity, that big thinker?
I'm a very creative person. I should never have gone to Rensselaer. And there's an architect in Rochester, Bud DeWolf, that said, you don't think like any other engineer I know, you think like an architect, because architects and landscape architects are circular. So if you're planning a house or a kitchen, they'll keep asking and going around and around and around, which is all great. Engineers are linear. They're going to drive, boom. So if you say new kitchen to an engineer, he'll deliver a kitchen, new kitchen. And you say, well, I didn't want chestnut. I wanted this and that. He goes, you said new kitchen. There's a new kitchen. An architect. So we say architects will daydream themselves into the corner.
Right.
Actually, I know an international design firm when I was talking to the CEO at RPI, because I was the president of the Rensselaer Club. And he said, I get the architects, when we have a problem, I get the architects in the room and we brainstorm all these solutions. And he had a degree in architecture and in engineering. So he said, I'm like the traffic cop standing in the middle of the street in Rome, directing all these traffic. So once I see that we've kind of got, yes, this is north, this is kind of the way we're going to go, I get them out of the room, yours in the room, and say, here's where we're going to go.
Yes.
And so he knows how to flip the left and the right side. And I have that same ability to do that.
Yes. And to be able to understand both and speak to both and communicate with both. And I think that's definitely a huge asset that project managers, a huge tool that they have in their toolkit.
Right. And that kind of goes back to the Russ Hurlbut that can walk out to a dairy barn and talk shop. And the Russ Hurlbut that could talk, CEO, Kellogg School, macroeconomics or something.
Yes.
You can chameleon.
And I think it sounds like you can too. Talking to Russ later today, and that is going to be
Russ is better at it than he's better at it than I am because he's been in bigger arenas, but that's fine.